The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 28th day of January, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Mia Chambray, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Happy Tuesday, Gunner's mom.
Happy Tuesday.
How are you?
I'm good. It's so funny when I remember that I'm somebody's mom.
You know what? I meant to say it the other day. So we had this clip up on our social media of the Honorable John Woolrich speaking about where proud to be Bermudian came from. And I always, audience, if you haven't watched the video, I always go to Mia's part. No, I'm just, man, her voice, I'm telling you, one day she's just gonna break out in song on the show.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's one of my favorite parts of the song now, because I got to connect with this, singer, this entertainer, this celebrity once a week. So go check it out. You'll get what I mean. Go check out Proud to be Bermudian and look at Mia's part.
You're gassing me up.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song, and I absolutely loved watching John on the show. It was amazing. And what church does he? What church is it? Can anybody let me know?
I forget. Don't do it to me, Mia. I forget. He did say.
Maybe the audience can remind me, because I would love to attend his service. I think I would love to go. But every time I hear that song, it always makes me cry. Every time I hear it, not just because I'm a part of it. It's just how it was written, the words.
It's a beautiful song, but I think even for those who weren't able to watch the show, but even if you just sort of clip where the song came from, just made it that much more beautiful. So I'm grateful that song was written, and I'm grateful that all of you had an opportunity to be a part of it. I gotta ask you though.
Yeah.
The song Gunner, has he seen the video before?
Yes. So actually, I completely forgot that I was in it, because it was.
It was so long ago.
It was. I know. It was only. I mean, I'm a young teen mom, so it was only like a little while.
It's funny.
So I completely forgot I was in it. But Gunner, he went to Sweet Pea Nursery School. Shout out to Sweet Pea, my faves. And then they all came, like when I went to go pick him up, Miss Lisa, Miss B, and everything. They also didn't know that they didn't know that I was in the video either. And so they play it every year as part of their May month. So celebrating Bermudian, and they do actually a whole week of Proud to be Bermudian. So they show the video to their nursery school students, every single year. And prior to that, I didn't know them. They didn't know me. So, it was just they were just watching the video. Anyway, so that day they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're in Proud to be Bermudian!" And face, because they were just filming the kids at the time, because you get and things, and they caught him right as he saw it, and he just went "My mommy!"
See, he knows what's up. Good boy, Gunner.
Wait, and it was something that 20 years on, didn't know that would have such a like reverberating effect, like throughout Bermuda, of course, but then in my own personal like family.
It's a beautiful song, and I think everyone should be proud to be part of that. Let's get into it though. David Michael Wilson says, "Terrific Tuesday, TDH fam and crew." Suzanne Ingham says, "Awesome Tuesday, Jamal Mia." Suzanne Ingham says, "You go Mia, First Church of God." No, I don't think it's First Church of God North Shore. It's his own church, I believe, that he covers. But we'll get that information for you. But greetings, everyone. Thanks for making this part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss the caliber of candidates in Bermuda's political arena. All right, we're going to be discussing, and I have a joke for you this morning as well. How about I do some political jokes leading up to the election? How about that?
I like that idea.
Or do you think that the politicians will be too sensitive and we can't joke about them?
No, we need to bring back that Peter Wilcock energy. I'm here for it.
Man. You know what? That's what we need. Folks, I'm going to give you some political stuff coming up. Yes. I shared one last week, and some people like, man, that's rude. It was like Premier Bert.
Right.
His face over like Bert from Sesame Street.
Yeah, hilarious. That is so funny.
That's pretty funny to me.
That's so hilarious. If somebody did that to me, I would think that was so funny.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, I think it was pretty funny. I mean, if it was about me, I'd do it. But anyway, folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, jumping right into the question. There's been a lot of talk about the standard, quality, and caliber of candidates for this upcoming general election. The question of the morning is, what are your thoughts on the caliber of political candidates in Bermuda? And let me just take it here real quickly to direct the conversation. So there was a lot of talk, and this has happened a few election cycles. Whether it was the late Sean Crockle, who ran for the United Bermuda Party, and people bringing up his criminal conviction, whether it was Rolf Commission prior to the 2020 election, but having his past, being accused and sent to prison for a gun-related crime, and now you have Callan Lewis, who's been announced by the One Bermuda Alliance, who was in prison for an incident where there was loss of life. Look, I'm not here to tell people how to feel. I definitely wouldn't tell a victim's family how to feel, or a victim. Do I believe people deserve second chances? Absolutely. But who am I to tell someone else, like tell Mia that, no, I disagree, he deserves a second chance if she feels differently. That's not my place to tell her that. That's why we have the opportunity as Bermudians to vote or not, because the question, a lead question for you, yes or no, should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office in Bermuda? Yes or no? Or does the crime matter? Does it depend on the level of crime, the type of crime? I know we don't look at crimes in Bermuda as felonies or misdemeanors, but level of crime, does it matter? But audience, the question of the morning, what are your thoughts on the caliber of political candidates in Bermuda currently? But also, should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office in Bermuda? Let's go.
You want to hear from me first, Jamal, or are we going to
be ready to go?
I am ready to go. I actually think what you said, Jamal, I don't want to, swage people one way or the other. But I do think that it should depend heavily on the level of crime that person has committed. So I think that really should be considered. And I think that dependent on the crime, and if the person has done the time and has been rehabilitated, then you shouldn't always be, if you've done everything and time has gone by and you're rehabilitated and you're making, really great progress and positive change in the community. And you should have the opportunity to be able to live your life. But on the other side, I don't think that if you've done very serious crimes that you shouldn't. I don't think you should be. I just don't think so. Personally, I don't think so.
Fair enough. And audience, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the caliber of candidates, political candidates in Bermuda right now? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you think that the standards low? Do you think that we need to improve it? Do you think that, like, what can we do to attract higher caliber candidates? And also, should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office in Bermuda? I think I'm going to go with Mia. As far as it depends on the level of crime. For instance, you know what used to really tick me off?
What, Jamal?
Well, many things, as you know, but what used to tick me off is when people would say they're against all forms of discrimination. And I'm like, oh, nah, hell, you got to discriminate to protect people sometimes. What I mean by that is Mia's son, Gunner, right? He goes to school. I'm not going to tell you all which school. We don't need stalkers, but I'm serious. But he goes to school. And if Mia were to find out that a convicted child sex offender was applying for a job at this school, as a mother who loves and wants to protect her son, I think we would all be okay with her discriminating. We're not going to be shouting, well, this person deserves a second job. No one's saying that they can't get a job.
Yeah.
What they can't do is get a job where they're going to be working with children. That's where my son's present. You feel me? So I want us to understand levels of crime, right?
Yes.
I think the question is very broad. Should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office in Bermuda? And I think, Mia, in fairness, let's just go over, because people keep asking, so what's the requirement to be eligible to run in Bermuda?
Yes, that's great. Yeah.
According to elections.gov.bn, the question asked, can anyone run in general election? Here's the answer. There are criteria. The person must be Bermudian and over 21 years of age. They must be nominated for a constituency by 2 people who are registered in that constituency, and they must pay $250 to the accountant general. The deposit is returned if the candidate polls more than 1/8 of the votes cast. Now,
wow.
Let's go to the Cayman Islands.
Okay.
Similar jurisdiction.
Yes.
Qualifications of a candidate. Qualifications for elected membership of the Cayman Islands Parliament. 61(1), subject to Section 62, a person shall be qualified to be elected as a member of the Cayman Islands Parliament if and shall not be qualified to be so elected unless A, that person is a Caymanian, and B, that person has attained the age of 21 years, and C, that person is, at the date of the person's nomination for election, domiciled and resident in the Cayman Islands, and D, that person is a qualified citizen, and either E, that person was born in the Cayman Islands or was born outside the Cayman Islands in the circumstances mentioned in subsection 2B, has resided in the Cayman Islands for a period of not less than 7 years immediately preceding the date of that person nomination for election, and subject to subsection 3, the number of days on which that person was absent from the Cayman Islands in that period does not exceed 400, or F, if that person was born outside the Cayman Islands, has resided in the Cayman Islands for a period or periods amounting to not less than 15 years out of the 20 years immediately preceding the date of that person nomination for election, and subject to subsection 3, in the 7 years immediately preceding the date of that person nomination for the election, the number of days on which that person was absent from the Cayman Islands does not exceed 400. Now, there's much more to it.
Okay.
Let's go down to what disqualifies someone.
Okay.
A is by virtue of that person's own act under any acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, and adherence to a foreign power or state. B, holds or is acting in any public office. C, has been adjudged or otherwise declared bankrupt under any law in force in any part of the Commonwealth of the United States of America and has not been discharged. D, is a person certified to be insane or otherwise adjudged to be of unsound mind under any law in force in the Cayman Islands. And E, subject to subsection 2, is serving or has served a sentence of imprisonment by whatever name code exceeding 12 months imposed on that person by a court in any country or substituted by competent authority for some other sentence imposed on that person by such a court, or is under such a sentence of imprisonment, the execution of which has been suspended or has been convicted by any court in any country of any offense involving dishonesty. So,
wow.
Basically, if you've been to prison for longer than 12 months, you can't run in the Cayman Islands.
Right.
That's what that means, right, audience?
Yes, that's what I think it means.
That's what I took from it, right? So basically in Bermuda, again, maybe there's something more, but can anyone run in the election? According to the parliamentary registrar, elections.gov.bn, criteria, the person must be Bermudian and over 21 years of age. They must be nominated for a constituency by 2 people who are registered in that area. $250 must be paid to your accountant general, and the deposit is returned only if they get 1/8 of the votes cast. So, questions of the morning. Having said all that, what are your thoughts on the caliber of candidates, caliber of political candidates in Bermuda, and should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office in Bermuda? What we got in the audience, Mia?
Well, we've got a lot, actually. We've got Rick Olson here this morning. People are coming in hot. Let's see. Let the voters decide. We presently have a very watered down group of candidates because, in my opinion, the job is really not that appealing. I support Renee Webb's position, less politicians, more money, to hopefully attract stronger candidates who are fully better educated as well.
Interesting. Let's go to Suzanne Ingham. She says, I'm not sure. I would not want a thief in government dealing with money. I wouldn't want a child trafficker in education or health. You're qualified to run, Jamal. Therefore, you are allowed to vote too. I
was thinking the same thing, Suzanne.
Tell them I said so. They can take that up with me. Yes, Jamal. Tell them I said it. Well, they heard you, Suzanne. They heard you. WKD Lama says the quality is low. The type of crime matters. I believe in second chances, but should not hold office. They have freedom. Be grateful they have been allowed back into society. Okay, fair enough. What else, audience? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the caliber of political candidates currently in Bermuda? And should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office in Bermuda? Just a yes or no. Yes or no, audience. Should those with criminal convictions be allowed to seek political office? Yes or no. Yes or no. I'm going to say, well, I'm not going to answer the question like I asked it. I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm going to go with what Mia said. I think it depends on the level of crime.
I agree. And I love this one from Suzanne Ingham. I'll vote for you, Jamal. What about me, Suzanne?
Yeah, vote for Mia. Vote for Mia. Vote for Mia.
I actually, going back to Rick's comment actually as well, and things that we've been talking about over the weeks on the Daily Hour, should we have less people, less candidates, less people running Bermuda, but making the salary more attractive, therefore, allowing people who maybe have, really big positions, such as like partners in law firms, etc. Perhaps if we made the salary more attractive, then more quality candidates would be able to, step forward. I think that's a great point.
I'm with that. I actually agree with that. Let's go on Instagram. We've got Glenn Tucker OBA. He says, what is your definition of higher caliber? That's not on me. That's on each and every person in the electorate. The caliber. That's why the question is, what are your thoughts on the caliber of political candidates? Everyone's going to be different. What Mia may think is high caliber, I may disagree with. Some people may require their candidate to have a college degree. I don't. Some people may want people who only know how to run and operate a business. Some people may want those who have been activists. Everyone's going to be different. That's why the question is broad and asking, what are your thoughts on the caliber of political candidates in Bermuda? As far as all the things I'm looking for in people, I think many people have it. I think Malachi Simons, I like that young guy. I don't mean to say young guy disrespectfully, but I like him. I do. Misha Fabla, I like them. Tanae Furbert, Minister Tanae Furbert, I've been a fan. Emily Gail Dill, from what I hear and how she comes across, I like her. Curtis Dickinson, the majority of the people like. There's a lot of people. Dr. Doug DeCudo, I love reading what he has to say. Yeah. I take it seriously. So I say that because I think, and I'm not I'm going to forget people because there's so many people to name. The Honorable Renee Webb, Susie Aruda. I think there are people who are genuine. I think based on what I'm looking for in someone, as far as creating policies and passing legislation, there are a number of people that I believe are at the caliber I would like a lot. They don't all have college degrees. They're not all activists. They're not all business people, right? At the end of the day, we need a diverse group of people. And when I speak about diversity, as I stated yesterday, I'm not talking about black, white, or gender or any of that. I'm talking about diversity of thought, people who come from different spaces that, that old cartoon, Captain Planet?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, fire. Like, that's what we need. We need a good group of people who are coming from different spaces. And I do think we have a great, number of people, but do we have enough? Because at the end of the day, we're still not attracting, if we're honest, we're still not attracting some of Bermuda's best. That's not to say we haven't attracted some of Bermuda's best. Is that clear?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think potentially, lowering the amount of people that run the island, and then raising the salary could really, impact that. Impact the level of caliber of candidates, or allow the net to be cast a little bit wider. How about we put it that way?
Yeah.
Not necessarily about caliber, because I don't necessarily think because you have a university degree or you run a business, I don't necessarily think that makes somebody better or less. It's really it's about so many different things that make high caliber of a person, or high quality and caliber of a person. So, but allowing the net to be cast a little bit wider, and Bermuda is so expensive. So maybe we did raise the salary and the expectations, because you listed like 4 things that you need in order to run to be a candidate. There was we might want to change the
expectations. I mean,
right.
There's some things to look at. I mean, there has to be some sort of qualification. I mean, you need a degree just to be cashier some places in the world now, right? But this brings the other question. Do you believe politicians should have a college university degree? I think Mia just answered that. I don't think people need a degree to make it in life.
I agree.
I don't personally. I mean, let me say this. Would I go to my doctor if they didn't have a degree? No. Would I trust a lawyer who didn't have a degree? No. Well, those are 2 professions where you can't be, what you are without, passing certain standards, right?
However, sorry, Jamal, I just want to interject there quickly. I had a doula for giving birth to Gunner, which is a practitioner that is, it's not a degree, but I'll tell you something. She had 30 years of experience of giving birth to children. So it's unqualified, but yet you are still a practitioner. But you have all this experience, and you're bringing life into the world. So that balances it out,
I agree, and I think, again, audience, let us know your thoughts. And everybody's quiet. You all are tuned in.
They're not. There's actually loads of people.
they don't want to talk to us. We've got Kathy Rogers says it looks like the people of Bermuda are desperate for change and willing to step up to make the changes. Well, you know what? I will say, I named some people this morning. I think Alexa Lightborn is actually, she's not a downgrade from Wayne Gaines. I'll say that much. I think she's that if it's just her and Noelle Young, that's going to be a shootout of 2 brilliant young ladies. I'll say that. So props to Alexa for stepping up, and she's been doing work in the PLP behind the scenes. So props to her. See what happens there, but that's going to be a shootout. That's probably not a correct term, but Ellen Kate Horton says, until the law is changed, I believe it's a non-issue. I think she's talking about the convictions. We have to make such decisions beforehand. Absolutely. I completely agree. And David Michael Wilson says no regarding the convictions. People with convictions shouldn't be allowed to run. I believe that's what he's talking about. What else, audience? Yes or no? Do you believe politicians should have a college degree? University degree? Yes or no? What are your thoughts? Do you think that there should be additional requirements? Like what other requirements would you like to see for people who are seeking political office in Bermuda? Like, what's a requirement you'd like to see, Mia?
I'd love to see community activism and community hours put in. So whether they're a member of a working man's group, or they do Big Brothers and Big Sisters, or they're part of really actively getting involved in KBB, like picking up trash in their constituency. Which leads me to another point. Do we think that, well, maybe there's a lot of questions floating around this morning, but what I really think is important, and I've always found it a bit strange, how if I lived in Southampton, I could then go and be a constituent in St. George's, but yet I'm not part of that community. I'm not part of this, although lots of my family comes from St. George's. I'm not living, breathing member of that community. So I personally don't feel like I would represent them in a meaningful way because I didn't live there.
Well,
so,
that's something that I think the Free Democratic Movement were very. That's their strategy, basically. They're only unveiling people, if I'm not mistaken, who live in those constituencies. But we'll probably speak about that in subsequent episodes about people, because I know the Honorable former Premier Michael Dunkley didn't live in his constituency, but he had his business in his constituency, and that's what he would say to people. You know, he's very dedicated and committed to this constituency because he has his business there. WKD Lama says, university degree is a bonus, but isn't a requirement. Experience in serving the public is important, something that shows they are good character. And that's what Mia was saying in terms of activism. Again, there's many ways. Here's my issue, though. I'm not calling any names, but there are a lot of people who are disconnected to Bermuda. And they, the typical way to do it was, hold charity events and put them on the front page of the paper and, make noise like I did this for charity and I did that. They're building political resumes. It's not genuine. And when things are not genuine, you're not helping advance. What do I mean by that? I've said this on the show again, and again, this is just a prime example. So you all can say I'm picking on somebody. I'm not bullying. But let's say, hear me out. We have a backpack giveaway today, right? Mm-hmm. We have a backpack giveaway for, children in need. Mm-hmm. So we have it today, January 28th, 2025. Mm-hmm. If this same date, January 28th, 2026, the same children are in need, and I do this backpack giveaway again, I have not helped the situation. All I've done is built my political resume or built my social resume. All I've done is let people know, hey, look at my face, look at me. I've done this for others. I've done charity work. Yeah. This is why I say I'm very cautious when it comes to people who do stuff like that. If I ever do stuff for people, I don't need it plastered all over the place. That's between me and that person. Because the goal should be to move the post. Like the goal should be, if I help you today, I should be empowering you so that next year this time, you don't need this. Because after me helping you the first time, and I help you again, it's all about ego for me.
Yeah.
And reliance on you, right? So that's why I just want people to be careful. I'm all for empowering people and helping people and assisting people when in need. But I've seen too many people build political resumes and satisfy their ego instead of doing what they tell the public that their intent is, which is to help people. So does that make sense?
Oh, it makes sense completely. On the flip side, I think it actually is amazing to do things in your community, to actually build community, not necessarily about giveaways and giving away free handouts and things like that, but actually doing community events together. Maybe it's like a yoga class or a trash pickup or something where you're actually together and you're talking, you're seeing each other's faces, but you're doing it on a continuous, not just once a year, hey, here's some free stuff. You're doing it on a continuous basis. And this is what I try to practice. I'm practicing what I preach. I do this in my own business. This is something that, I'm not asking anybody for anything. I'm putting something on. People can come at their own free will. It's something that helps with people's mental, spiritual, helps the planet, all these different things. But we're doing it on a consistent and continuous basis where you can get in front of people and continuously build a community. Whereas you're not just like giving away things and then a year later you're giving away the same things to the same people. That's not building, helping, or that's not creating genuine community.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I love to see activists. I love to see people who are genuine about stuff. Those are the people I want. We don't need more ego. We don't need more people who are out there, and they're like, it's a political resume. I remember telling someone, I don't put my social activities and mentoring on my resume, right? And they're like, well, that shows how well-rounded you are. And I'm like, if I'm given a chance, they'll find that out. But I want them to see how I've improved the last company I was with, what I did to help the people around me where I was. I don't need to use how I've helped others in terms of the community, right? No, if it was politics, it would probably make sense, because activism and politics, it can be one and the same. Let's go to the audience. What are your thoughts on the caliber of political candidates in Bermuda? And we did ask, do you think people should need a degree? John Seymour, it says, I believe that a degree is required to take on a ministerial cabinet position. Is it? I'm not quite sure, because my former boss, Glenn Blakeney, doesn't have a college or a university degree, and he was a minister for a very long time under Dr. Brown. So unless something changed that I don't know about, you definitely don't need a degree to, one, vote. I'm sorry, not vote. One, run, and two, be appointed to cabinet. So that unless something changed over the last 10 years, that's not true.
Polly Ritchie Polly Ritz says, no to a degree, but to have a love for the island, strong convictions, willing to fight for our people and what is right, ability to solve issues and get things done. Yes, that's.
I like that she said willing to fight.
Yes,
I'm gonna tell you, I'll take someone who will fight for me over someone who will give me $1, because a person that will fight for me and with me is a person that'll ensure that I'm not going to need to ask someone for $1 after that day. Like, I want people who are going to fight with me. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Somebody's willing to fight for the people and what's right. Let's go ahead quickly.
Let's see. We've got, I think this is actually a great point. Sean Speech Johnson says, if you want a position in government like a finance minister, you should have a degree in finance. If you're health minister, you're a doctor or education, you have a degree in education. Those positions, you should have a college degree or years of experience in that field. I agree with that. I agree with experience, or I agree with the experience part.
But you're bordering conflict of interest, and I'll tell you why.
True.
I remember suggesting to my former boss, you should be Minister of Telecommunications. He said, nah, that would be conflict, because he owns radio stations, right? So if you have a doctor that is the Minister of Health, that creates its own problems, because now is there conflict of interest. Finance, that's different.
Yes.
That's different. But I think we just have to be very careful that we don't enter. I get the point that the person's making. This person should have a clue. But keep in mind, the ministers are not the ones doing the work. The professionals in the public service are the ones doing the work. So we must keep that in mind. So, it's like a CEO. You have a CEO of Coca-Cola, may go and be the CEO of NBC.
That's true.
No TV experience, So I want us to keep in mind is that your job as the minister is to lead the ministry, not manage it. There's a difference.
That's true. I think, though, in regards to finance, it's a totally different kettle of fish. So, for example, when I see Dr. Doug DeCuto, he has a finance master's or doctorate from MIT. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's somebody that I could feel confident in running the finances for Bermuda, for example. But yes, I agree with what you said, Jamal. Yeah. I do really agree. There's lots of people from the audience now. Everyone's. Let
me go to these last few comments before we bring Maya. And Kiovane BDA says there are people who have gone to the most difficult universities in the world and have no idea how to practically solve the root issues. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think formal education is going to necessarily equate to a better caliber. I mean, you need real people who are able to engage. Manuela John says a candidate should not be popular in the news, but never seen on the doorstep. Well, here's the thing, and take this as you will. You all going to say I'm picking on people, but I'm not. I'm not a bully. But there's a specific candidate in the western part of the island who's always sharing on social media how they're in their constituency and they're at the schools and this and that. And my first question every time I see that, and it takes me back, and it takes me back to 1998 at Bermuda College. And pretty much the entire PLP showed up, right? And not all of the UBP MPs did. And someone in the UBP apologized with this, saying, "We're sorry, but we have jobs." And it didn't go over well. Didn't go over well. But I want us to be very clear about something. There are genuine people who actually have families, who have like jobs. I'm not going to say real jobs, but they have jobs and responsibilities. They don't have the time that a jobless MP may have to be on the doorstep and exist in that constituency. And let me say one more thing. You know, a teacher told me this. Mr. Colton Johnson said this when I was in Prospect Primary. I used to get perfect attendance every year. That's because my mama, whether I was sick or not, you're going to school. She wouldn't have got away with it these days. But he made a very valid point that stuck with me forever. We shouldn't be giving up rewards or awards for perfect attendance. You got awards and rewards for the work that you do. And it stuck with me. So for me, I don't need you showing up on my doorstep and in the constituency every week or every day. I need you doing the work. Now, if you've got something to tell me that you are doing or that you've done or you've achieved, but otherwise, doing that and sharing it on social media is to satisfy your ego. Let's go back to the comments. Alan K. Horton says, "You're correct, Jamal. A degree is not required for a ministerial position." David Michael Wilson says, "Enable me with the tools I need rather than give me promises that you ultimately don't intend to keep." John Seymour says, "It's not on the books, just my honest opinion." Oh, okay. Sorry. Saying got a degree for the ministerial positions. Polly Ritz says, "Mia, I don't agree. As civil servants do all the work. They have the degree." Yeah, and that's what I meant. Like the ministers are there to lead this public officers, as they call them now, that are manage it. Levette Pemberton says, "A visionary person, a love for people. Get your home in order first. Set example." I agree. I agree. Karen Simmons says, "Who is actually doing the work in the ministry? PS and the civil servants, not ministers." Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're the ones leading it. And Alan Kate Horton says, "Can you really lead if you don't know? Non-educators in education have made a mess." And that's a fair point. That's an absolutely fair point. Fair point. Audience, you've been great. And since you've been so great, can you be even greater? Can you be the greatest? We're going to take a quick commercial break, right? Come back with Maya to do the news break. While we're on that break, cost you nothing. While you get up, go to the loo, go warm up your coffee, eat some breakfast, do us one big favor. Whatever platform you're on, just push the like, love, repost, retweet, share it with your family, your friends on WhatsApp, your colleagues, even those who are not on the same political side as you. Make sure you share the information. Let's grow these community conversations. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talk and DeWalt. The list goes on.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's next level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses, whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment. We provide 100% guarantee on approved loans, simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Bermuda Trivia, the Black History Edition, is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com or email contact@bermudatrivia.com to learn more.
Welcome back to The Big Show. Mia Chambray, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, we've got to bring Maya in. And remember, I said to you all, I'm going to do some jokes.
Yes.
Right? You know, I'm got some jokes coming because Suzanne's been asking for some jokes. But yes or no, do you think I should make political jokes? Because again, Bermudian politicians are so sensitive. Like, I'm like, have you never watched Jimmy Kimmel?
Have you never seen the Not the MM show?
You feel me? Like, I mean, I'm gonna make some political jokes. No, if you take offense, maybe you shouldn't be in politics. All right, let's bring my applause in for Daily Hour News Break. Do not go anywhere. I've got a joke for you folks. Hey, MP, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Maya.
Morning, Mia.
Morning.
Jamal.
Wow.
MP. I try so hard.
I don't know what I did to him. Well, just for that, I have a joke for you anyway. But look, man, people have some opinions about the standard and caliber of candidates, MP. About degrees and convictions and the like. You know what? We should probably ask Media Maya's audience what they think. Have you done that before? Seems like something you've done.
I feel like I have done that before, maybe in the last general election. I do recall asking, again, when you become a part of these parties, what are things that you have to actually do within the party to stay and keep your position? Because that's always been a question of mine, are there duties you have to fill, whether it is canvassing or calling X amount of constituents a week or seeing what is needed in your community Facebook group, even how often are you actually in communication with your constituents, and can you mark that off and can you give reference? I remember asking for that and getting back an answer every party has their own different thing that they have to subscribe to. And I was just like, okay, what is it? Can I know? And has everyone reached it? And because even seeing what happened within the One Bermuda Alliance with in constituency 9, I believe it was the story that I did with Vic Ball and Vance Campbell, and then hearing the leader Jeremy Richardson come up with all the things that Vic Ball did not do within the party, that he was supposed to do, and everything like that. I'm like, well, can we get that on a regular basis then, with all your members who are keeping up with it and who are not?
The only thing that stood out to me was he didn't pay his dues. Money talks. I'm just saying, that's what stood out to me. All right, what you got today, MP?
All right, big news break for you guys this morning. So good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. So we've already mentioned just yesterday that there have already been some collisions over the weekend. Well, the Bermuda Police Service put out more reports stating that there have been 3 more that actually came to light and that they have shared now with the public. So the first one was a single vehicle collision. And this happened around 12:10 a.m. on Sunday, January 26th. So police officers were on mobile patrol along South Road, Paget, when they observed a single vehicle collision involving a motorcycle near Tribe Road number 4. So the motorcycle rider, a male, was found lying in a ditch at the side of the westbound lane of South Road, and a motorcycle hanging from a branch of a tree nearby. Officers spoke with witnesses who were on scene and stated that the rider was initially traveling east on South Road and overtook a number of vehicles before he made a U-turn and began traveling west on South Road. He reportedly lost control of the motorcycle as he attempted to negotiate a right-hand bend and went off the road and into the trees. The rider was initially assessed by members of the public before he was attended to at the scene by emergency medical services. He was subsequently transported to the hospital for treatment of what is described as serious but not life-threatening. But they did include a collapsed lung, a broken leg, and a fractured rib.
Wow. First off, healing energy to that person. I don't know. But did you say the bike was hanging in a tree?
Off a branch from a tree, yes. Or he was inside a ditch after trying to attempt to make a U-turn.
Wow. Wow. To be alive based on just thinking of how that happens. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. Anyone who may have witnessed this already, you know the drill. Just please call the police at 295-0011 or 211 as well.
Indeed.
So the next collision we heard of was a hit and run collision on Saturday, January the 25th. And this police attended to as well on the scenes. These images that you see here are stock images, just so you're aware. But the police attended to the reported serious road traffic collision involving two motorcycles on Church Street. So one motorcycle was traveling east along Church Street when the rider of the second bike, which was traveling east along Weasley Street, failed to obey a stop sign at the junction and rode into the path of the first bike. So this resulted in a collision in which the motorcyclist who was traveling along Church Street sustained abrasions to his face and hands. He was taken by the ambulance to the hospital for treatment as well, and the rider of the other motorcycle left the scene prior to the arrival of the police.
Hit and run. Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Just wishing everybody well, honestly. I don't, yeah.
And as we know, like the roads are also really wet right now. Check your tires, check your oil, and get yourself situated and safe while you're on those roads, and go slow as well. And finally, for collisions that we have this morning on Saturday as well on South Road Paget, it was reported that a motorcycle was being driven east along South Road in Paget when, upon nearing the junction with Lovers Lane, it was struck by a motorcycle traveling in the opposite direction. So this was a two-vehicle collision, and that person was transported by the ambulance to the hospital for treatment of head and facial injuries as well. So anyone who may have witnessed that one on Saturdays, please ask a call 295-0011 or 211.
Yeah. Okay. Slow down, folks. Yeah. The roads are not in the best conditions to even go to speed limit, let alone speed. So
exactly. Everybody needs to take their time.
Moreover, I mean, we heard about other schools, and now we're getting more school updates as well about teachers not being present. This one coming from Whitney Institute Middle School. So the Department of Education updates on the Whitney Institute school closure, saying that it is fully aware of the teacher shortage at Whitney Institute Middle School, which resulted in yesterday's early dismissal of students. The Department of Education is addressing this matter with the principal, the Whitney Institute School Board, and the Bermuda Union of Teachers to resolve the staffing challenges swiftly. So there needs to be more and more of that.
Why does that seem like maybe I'm wrong, collaborated effort to send a signal, as someone said to me yesterday, like Sands last week, Whitney this week. Who next?
Pardon?
Who next?
Who next? I mean, we had, at the end of last year, it was Cedar Bridge Academy with their teacher shortages and staffing. So, yeah.
I'm not trying to start trouble or anything, so don't call me Don King. But I do wonder, after the election, people are expecting the PLP to win. And, let's say that Diallo Rabain is successful. I do wonder, as he's been the only education minister under the Byrd administration, if he'll remain. I'm curious.
He has been the longest as well, as the education minister too. So, yeah. Things to find out. Things we will know. Well, as mentioned yesterday, a disturbing video using the images and the story of the beloved football player Marco Warren was circulated on the island. So the Bermuda Police Service has been made aware of the video that is circulating on social media, which includes the allegations that have, they say, no support in the investigation into the death of Mr. Marco Warren. Furthermore, addressing the situation, Darren Simons, the Commissioner of Police, did have these words to say. He said, since Since the unfortunate incident, the Premier has been in contact with the police and willingly assisted us with our ongoing inquiry. Additionally, I must state clearly there is no information to suggest that the government minister, Tanay Farbert, has had any involvement in the matters alleged. Mr. Simons assured that the Bermuda Police Service operates with fairness, impartiality, and integrity and will keep an open mind with every investigation. He said, quote, "We continue to encourage anyone who may have relevant information to come forward and assist us in our efforts. If you have any information, please contact Acting Detective Superintendent Jason Smith on 717-0864. He closed by saying, "I must address the public directly regarding the spread of unfounded or slanderous posts on social media. Sharing unsubstantiated claims or defamatory content can have serious consequences, not only for the individuals targeted, but also legally for those responsible. I urge the community to think carefully before engaging with or spreading such content."
Someone asked me could they find or could I send them what I said yesterday regarding all of this stuff? And I speak to everybody, regardless of who you are, what you do. We all love a little rumor until it's about someone we love, right? I think we tread very dangerously when we go this route. We live in a very small community. And being in a very small community, the toughest thing is when something's said about you, whether it's proven to be false or not, you're labeled. You're labeled literally from there on. These are people's lives. I get politics. We're at a very, very serious place. I don't want to talk about that stuff. I don't want to address it. Look, the facts are the cost of living is through the roof. The facts are many people have a problem with the education system. That's why the government's trying to fix it and the opposition disagrees with how they're trying to fix it. There are enough facts to make a political decision. We don't need distractions and rumors and things that are impacting families who are still grieving. I said yesterday, we got to be better than this. And Dexter Smith said, but we aren't. And social media hasn't helped. But don't wait till something hits your doorstep to want empathy in the community. That's what I'll say to that.
Indeed. Well, moreover, in some political news, the FDM did announce their newest rollouts just the other day for the upcoming general election in their constituency. So we got Shakara Richardson for constituency 3, Charmaine Riley for 16, Okado Nesbitt for constituency 17, Calzine Thompson for 21, and Shalea Codrington for 36.
Okay. Well, I'll say this much. I've only know of 3 of the candidates. I know Shakara Richardson. She has been fighting for herself. I know Ciela Wilson has covered her over the years, trying to, make her businesses happen. So she's been fighting to run her businesses up against challenges or whatnot. Ricky, I'm just going to put my bias out there. He is my cousin. But he's been fighting for people for years in the hotel and hospitality sector. And he doesn't just fight for people. He fights if you're right. Like, he's not going to defend you if you're coming to work late or drinking on a job or stealing from the company. He fights for people who deserve. So he's a union person and understands, the part that each individual has to play. And then Miss Calzine Thompson, my interaction with her on this show, when she came on this show and she showed us how she spoke to us about how she makes the gumbe suits and the like, which is an integral part of our culture. So those are the only 3 I know of. And I'm saying that to say this, that, we spoke about the caliber of people and the mix of people that we need, right? We don't need all business people. We don't need all doctors or lawyers or educators. We need a great mix of people. So all the best to them in their constituencies. And, maybe we see more people with what the public is looking for to represent them. The more choice, the better.
They did also mention that Omar Dill, who mentioned on this show that he will be running, they will have his constituency number within the next, they said 24 to 48 hours. So we'll know what constituency he'll be running in very shortly as well.
Oh, and how could I forget, by the way, Charles H. Jefferson II says, I hope Mr. Photogenic knows Ricky. Well, I tell you what, Ricky definitely, I mean, I must say the FDM were very uniform, but Ricky, cousin Ricky, Mr. Photogenic, you all are giving that man some material, because cousin Ricky, in fairness, this is with love, you look like you was heading to Easter Sunday service, brother. I'm gonna give it to you though. You got the attention. Photogenic. If you haven't seen Mr. Photogenic's video, it's hilarious. We had a good laugh yesterday. But all jokes aside, props to anyone who's considering doing it.
Absolutely.
Next on our news this morning. So community environmental advocate and leader to many, Eugene Dean, had a press conference announcing the Imperial Group. So the Imperial Group is gaining attention for its focus on promoting unity, accountability, and justice in the community. The group emphasized holding leaders accountable and fostering a society based on truth and justice. So they've also launched a new website and hosted a press conference to further their call and their campaign for this upcoming general election. Here's a clip from, well, audio clip, and also looking at their website here from what they had spoken about yesterday. Here we go.
And if the vast majority of people in the country all agree that we wish to see the current administration removed, then how do you achieve that based on what's happened in the by-elections, where the current administration has received a small fraction of the votes, but still managed to maintain their position as a result of the others looking to oppose them, taking votes from each other. Based on that, the reality is that if the combined opposition continues to work in isolation, the current administration will remain. And if the goal is to see the current administration removed, then it's everybody's duty to work together. So the Vote for Unity campaign expressed on our website is to inspire that action and to make it very clear to the general public that there is a pathway to victory and there is a pathway to achieving the type of leadership that the country is literally begging for.
All right. So before you speak on that, I'm just going to carry on by saying this. And that audio was actually coming from Burn News. But the group, however, has drawn a response from the Progressive Labour Party. While not officially registered as a political party or stating so in their press conference, the PLP has suggested that the Imperial Group's advocacy for unity across political lines could imply a vote for other parties, such as the One Bermuda Alliance, stating, quote, the announcement of the Imperial Group and their call for unity among the OBA, FDM, and Sir John Swan's independents lays bare clearly that a vote for anyone that isn't the PLP is a vote for the One Bermuda Alliance. The threat is clear. Go to bed with the FDM, Imperial Group, or Sir John Swan's new BP is what they're calling it, and wake up with the OBA, end quote. Now, again, the Imperial Group did not state that they are a new political party. However, Eugene Dean did say that if it comes down to it, and if necessary, he would run in a constituency.
This is getting it. Look,
Yeah.
I can't wait till Friday. I'm looking forward to nomination day. Politics shouldn't be fun. It should be, it's a book, Principles of Leadership book I read when I was in graduate school, and I read it pretty much every couple of years just as a reminder. But basically, one of the points of leadership is not to celebrate the day you get the job, but to celebrate the work that you complete, celebrate the achievements. The job ain't nothing to celebrate. Okay, so you got the job. You've been elected, right? There shouldn't be anybody celebrating on February 18th that they want to see. What you should be celebrating is what you achieved with the cost of living being lowered, with every citizen being able to have access to health. That's what the celebration is. So I'm interested to see the impact that the Imperial Group's going to have. While I do understand them, I think what they're basically saying is what people have said. Like, if the idea is that you're trying to defeat the government, then put ego aside and work together, right? Look, I think if I made a political prediction, by the way, this is just a prediction, it's not where I side or, again, I can't vote where I would vote, but I just don't see on this day at this time how the PLP loses with how it's currently going. I don't see how it's possible. It's a numbers game. I don't see how it's possible. Well, that may hurt some people's feelings. You may be saying, nah, Jamal, this is how I could break down, because I haven't taken a scientific look. But I don't see how it's possible. So what I think the Imperial Group's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is if the idea is to remove a government that you believe has not been effective, then put ego aside and work together. That's what I took from what Maya just presented.
Yeah.
I
agree. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Mia.
I was just going to say, I agree. And it's what we at the Daily Hour have been saying all this time since the by-election, since in Somerset, that everybody needs to just put their egos aside and we all need to work together.
Yeah. Mr. Dean mentioned how, like, because, you know, in some places there's 3 or there's 4 people, like the community could be confused as to who to like also vote for. So it also seems like they're just trying to get a clear basis as to who each person, what each person and constituent is about as well. So people feel like they have a clear voting option, but also the purpose in the campaign, as they kept on mentioning, was like changing administration. So.
But I'm torn. I'll tell you why I'm torn, guys. Just understand me, and tell me, your thoughts on what I'm about to say. I'm torn because, as I said earlier, the more the better. And for me, I really think it's about the people. Like, if I'm honestly clear, if I give an honest opinion right now, you all know by what I say on this show, I'm not happy with the state of Bermuda politically. And I know the threat that people would say, well, the more people, the easier it is going to be for the PLP. I don't necessarily think that way as of today, because I feel like the Bermudian electorate have to understand their responsibility in who governs them. And if they choose to stick with what they have, then that's on them. But I think the more choice, right, puts us in a space where people actually have more options to see who aligns with them. Think about it, America, 330 million people. And it literally comes down to 2 political parties of all those people every year, 4 years, or every 2. I like the way we're going with more choice. I get what people are saying, but the idea should for me, should be for the electorate to have the option to choose the people who align with them most, rather than, this is how politics works, voting against people. I'd like to see us voting for people.
I mean, I like to see, like, you know how I feel about statistics. So like after nomination day, I would love to count just as many, like, okay, so how many people do we actually have, including all the independents that are still more to be announced, I'm sure. And then the parties that we have, how many people they got, and comparing it to our own history as to like, is this the most choices I've ever had? Because at present, for me in my lifetime, yes. And it is exciting, like you said, Jamal. I mean, we have 36 constituencies, which a lot of people do fear that is a lot, but that also leaves a lot of option, a lot of wiggle room for those votes to be split, and someone could actually win that seat that is an independent. So, or otherwise a new party as well. So this is a crucial year, a very exciting, interesting general election for Bermuda, where we could potentially have independents and members from a new party, FDM, have seats in our government. So
Indeed.
It's different. All right, so I'm gonna close it there for our news break, and we're gonna just talk about the weather for today. And hopefully it's a little bit better than what we have, but it does say still a few spells of showers, but patchy, rainy type drizzle, so it shouldn't be long-standing and long showers going in there. But we do have higher gusts of wind, so expect damp roads, expect windy conditions. So again, when you're on those vehicles, be mindful, go slow, and change your tires. If you know someone today, tell them to change their tires, please, both of them, front and back. And check the brakes. And we got a high of 69 degrees today as well. So just be mindful out there on those roads and in this weather.
Thank you so much, Maya. Mia, do you have a days of the year for us?
Oh yeah, days of the year today. So today is National, there's 2 actually. One kind of just made me laugh, but the first one is National Plan a Vacation Day. You guys planning on going anywhere for 2025? Got any vacations planned or currently going to be planned, or any more trips to Africa, Jamal? Or
I'm broke, sis.
You went to Kenya last year. It's done for me.
Maya, what about you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually going on vacation next month, so I am very excited for that.
Oh, that's so exciting. And the audience, let us know where you're planning to go on vacation for 2025. I need some inspiration. And then, no, I don't have anything planned. The only thing I have planned is we're going to a wedding. at some and then I may go and visit my best friend. She lives in Toronto, so I'm gonna go swing by and see Maya. But yeah, probably that. And then it's also, this just gave me a bit of a chuckle this morning. It's also National Cybersecurity Day.
Oh. I mean, we're still waiting for answers with that. All right, I got a couple of political jokes for you all. You want some?
Okay. Yes, please.
You want some political? Okay, here we go. Tell me if I'm going too far.
Never.
This is an easy one.
Don't say never, Mia. Go ahead.
What's a politician's favorite footwear?
Oh.
What's a politician's favorite footwear?
I know, running shoes. So they can get out of anything. Get away from.
Let me think a minute. Let me think. What's a politician's favorite running shoes? It's a brand and it's gonna be like.
No, their favorite footwear. What's a politician's favorite footwear?
Running shoes.
Running shoes, you say?
So they can run out of sticky situations.
Someone said Crocs. No.
Crocs. Hilarious.
Ugh, I hate Crocs. I'm sorry to anyone who wears them. I'm sorry.
A politician's favorite footwear.
Go ahead.
Sandals.
Flip-flops. No, it's flipping and flopping. That's what they call a certain person. All right. Okay, here we go. I got another one for you.
I thought it was going to be a lot more witty and clever than that. That wasn't even bad. Go on.
Why did the truth cross the road?
Because it didn't want to tell a lie?
To get away from the politicians.
Bing, bang! That's it, Mia. All right, here we go. My last one.
That was a lot more wittier. That was okay.
That's the last one. Why don't politicians ever play hide and seek?
You're just spitting them all out today. It's just 3 in a row.
Play hide and seek. Because you can never find them because they're always hiding and ghosting. We're always being ghosted by the government. There's no sneaking, only hiding.
Because no one would ever look for them. I mean, I disagree, but I'd be looking for mine. Oh, woo! But Mia's answers were much better. Because no one would ever. But see, those were light. No one should be offended. No one should be offended.
No, that's funny.
Can I go harder next time?
100%.
More local?
Ask the audience.
Was that okay? Was that fair? That was light. Nobody's going to be offended that I'm saying, because some of the jokes I'm like, no, they're going to say I'm saying all politicians are dumb and stupid. And I'm like, I don't want that message to come across. I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Look at me caring about people's feelings, politicians' feelings. Look at me. You know what? Suzanne liked it. She liked
it.
Ellen Kate loved it. Polly Rich liked it. Oh, we appreciate you. Oh, she's over on the phone. My best friend. We appreciate you all. Thank you all. Yeah, Mia's answers were actually better than the
you were
Mia killed it, honestly.
I was like, I don't know.
Nah, Mia killed it. We're gonna give it to her. She killed it. All right. MP, you sticking around for? I've got a little daily play question. You want to answer? You want to compete against me?
Come on, Maya. We can do it. We can do it, Maya.
Fine, I'll stay.
All right, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna be back in give us a minute 40 seconds. We'll see if they can guess or you can guess this political related daily play.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think everyone knows this answer.
Don't see now. I'm gonna feel bad when I don't know it. Go ahead.
Well, you and Terea weren't born yet, so.
Run the commercial.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Right. Who was the first woman to become not just the first female opposition leader in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Liz thrown at me.
Hey, buddy.
Hun, who was the first woman to serve as opposition leader, not just in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lois Brown Evans.
Mason, what did you say?
Dame Lois Brown Evans.
Dame Lois Brown Evans? Where do you find that?
Mommy playing Bermuda Trivia.
Mommy playing Bermuda Trivia.
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. Good job.
It's true. Children are a reflection of their environment. Bermuda's favorite trivia game, fun with a purpose. To educate, to entertain, to inform, to inspire, to learn, and to enjoy. Bermuda Trivia, all volumes now available at various stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com to learn more and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Office Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can do this with you on a daily basis. Audience, please do us a favor. If you haven't already, whatever platform you're on, give us a like, love, follow, share it, subscribe to our, I don't know if you all know this, but after the show's over, if you're a YouTube member, you actually get to see what we discussed, like how Maya and Mia talk bad about you all in the audience after the show. Like, you get to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So just subscribe on our YouTube channel and then join to become a member. Trust me, you'll benefit from it big time. All right. Oh, what did I say? What happened?
Well, how dare you?
Oh, sorry. I mean, I talk about you all, but yeah. Anyway. Hey, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it's little remember when history today. All right, here we go. Can I see your hands to make sure you two ain't Googling?
Oh my days! Wow.
I'm trying. All right. The Sir John Swan-led independence referendum was held in Bermuda on August 16th of what year?
1989. 1991.
I have no idea. Okay, so I was wondering, it has to be on like 93?
82.
88? 91?
No one got it.
Really?
86?
No, I want to go
95.
95? Oh!
It was 95. Helene. Yes. David Michael. Yeah, 95.
I was so close to being born.
So you were thought of then. You were thought of.
No, I was thought of. Indigo was born. Indigo was born.
Me too, Maya. Me too.
Mia's hilarious. Yeah, that's they weren't born yet, folks. Neither of them were born.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn,
I trust them. I trust them. Just not all the time. 95, yeah. 1995, the independence referendum. And if I'm not mistaken, the late Frederick Wade encouraged people not to vote, if I remember that correctly.
Really? Okay, now I'm interested to look at what the results were for that.
So in 2012's election, in the 2012 election, I remember, like, Bermudians Against Draft, we were encouraging people like a non-vote campaign. And I remember people, especially a lot of PLP supporters, saying, oh, your ancestors fought for your right to vote. And Larry Marshall Sr. would always say, well, how you felt when the late Freddie Wade told you not to vote in the referendum. You all want independence so much. But like, I just remember it from that time, like the hypocrisy. But yeah, what a time. And I mean, Sir John then resigned, right? He then resigned.
Where can you find that referendum, like the results of it? Because not on
they're on. They should, hold on. I can get them for you. They are. Let's see if I can bring them up, folks. Let's see if I can bring up the results. Here we go. I'm on it right here. No, it doesn't go back that far.
Huh. Well, what were you checking?
I'm on. Here it is. I am on. No, it doesn't. It only has the same-sex referendum.
Yes, yeah, I was on elections.gov.br until like referendums, and it's not there. Yeah, it has 2016 same-sex.
Yeah, they don't have it. Yeah. See, Ellen Kate Horton said, yes, you are correct. Freddie's biggest mistake. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. Maya, they can't believe you're so young. She's been around so long, hasn't she, folks? Oh, so's her.
I've been doing this since high school.
David Michael Wilson said, yeah, 74% of the voters were against the independent movement. I like what he said, the voters. But yeah, I remember seeing the results. Maya, let's reach out to the registrar today to get the results. Of that. But I remember Sir John was trying to get it. Yep, August 16th, 1995.
So if we do it now in 2025, what's that? 20 years later?
30?
No, 30 years later. Oof, math.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 years later, if we were to do it today.
Yeah, 30 years. Man, we had an independence referendum 30 years ago. That doesn't even sound right. I'm that old, huh?
You're so young, Jamal. We're so young. We're just getting.
I appreciate you.
We're warming up, Jamal.
Right? Yeah, young.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to prolong the conversation this morning, guys, but that's got me thinking. The only referendum of note recently was same-sex marriage. I do wonder how people's votes would be. I mean, I think, in fairness, maybe I'm wrong, speaking out of turn, but I think more people trusted Sir John's economy back then. So I think the vote would probably be less in terms of favor of independence now.
I would agree with that.
I think it'll probably be less. I could be wrong, audience. I could be wrong. Yeah, I was gonna go on Wikipedia, but you know what they say: if we gave you Wikipedia, we can't be trusted. Because I'm that kind of person. Will go edit something and then tell you, "Oh, go look at it with Wikipedia," and then make you kind of
Yeah.
All right. So Alan K. Horton says, for the record, she's sharing what she said. She said, "I was a yes vote." She voted for. Okay.
Anyone else want to share?
That's funny.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
Yeah, if you were able to vote, are you willing to share how you voted back then, folks? Charles H. Jeffs II says, he says, "You are correct, Jamal. I think that was a huge mistake for that reason. Some don't agree with the airport being named after him." Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And turnout was very low. Anika DeShields says that's about 50%. 50% of turnout? No, it can't. 38,000 is not 50% of our electorate turnout. That's the population turnout, but not the registered voters, legal voters, right?
Okay.
Yeah, let's get on that. We'll talk about that because there's some, man, we're prolonging. We got to wrap it up. Final thoughts on today's show, you guys? Anything?
Maya? So as always, I mean, it's a political season right now. Huge time for general elections, huge time and year for Bermuda in general, and our citizens and ourselves as voters, those who can go out and vote and use their voice and their right. It's interesting. It's just like a time that I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over, but also what an exciting time to be around during so many options, during a change that could possibly happen, a lot of historical things going down. So there's a lot to keep up with and a lot to know. And in terms of the discussion today, and just even talking about like qualifications or the standard of who should be able to run these things, just more things that should be talked about within the schools. Actually, like I'll still stress that we don't know enough about our own political movement or our government or anything from the education that we do receive, at least not from when I was in school and having to learn about it far after even university, because I knew too much about Canada than Bermuda because I didn't learn enough. So it's just having these conversations are so vital. If you could get any young person to sit down and watch these shows, please do send them on, and even just getting them to be educated on our political system and understanding it, because now this is their time to vote, and we are getting older, and the next generation coming up, they need to use their voice more too. So they need to know exactly how it even works. But that's what I say.
I agree. And now this is the time where we're going to review our educational curriculum by the Daily Hour on all things politics that we'll be rolling out across all schools. No, just joking. Imagine us in schools with a curriculum. That would be amazing. Yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
Maya looks scared. Maya looks scared. Maya's like, what?
Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I love today's conversation so much. The audience participation. I love that we have, people who were there during that referendum with John Swan. That was so exciting. Everybody weighing in on yes or no. It was interesting to see actually what the criteria is for Bermuda versus Cayman Islands. How the criteria is very, very short and sweet in Bermuda. Should we make that? Should we put more criteria on? It seems like, yes, people are looking for that. Should we raise the wages for politicians and lessen the amount? Seems like potentially yes. Like to reflect on what Maya said, it's a very historical and exciting time in regards to this upcoming election. I'm super excited for Friday to see who's going to be rolled out. And I'm really excited for the further of the daily hour conversations in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed today's conversation, everyone, and audience members. Thank you for being so just with great participation. It's been wonderful to hear.
Yeah. Indeed. I just want to answer this. Nika Dishi was asking, why would it be less in favor of independence? Because the obvious answer is in the comments from people throughout social media and personal conversations is that they don't feel that Bermuda is in a space where they can be independent. They don't feel economically we'd be able to survive independence. They feel that they need the UK. People love the fact that they can have a UK passport. There are a number of reasons that are stronger for the argument that many will make for independence. Personally, I'd love to see an independent Bermuda someday, but that's not my decision. I can't even vote on a referendum, folks. Anyway, final thoughts. I'll say this much. Look, as far as the caliber of people running, I think we need a diverse group of people. And I think we need to stop looking at diversity as of what people look like, rather than what do they bring to the table. That I want us really to look at diversity as diversity of thought. You are looking at 3 people on the screen who do not think alike. One of them is talented as a singer. One of them is a talented writer and reporter. And then there's me, right? And we're very different as how we approach life. And that's the joy of me doing this with people like them. And that you all seem to appreciate what we do on this show. Think about what we can get from a diverse group of people in politics. There will be no party line. We will get people who come from different spaces economically, mentally, emotionally, physically, consciously. I think the caliber of candidates should reflect the people of Bermuda. Yes, we need some formally educated, but we also need, to use Susie Arruda's words, some pit bulls. We need people who are going to fight for us, people who understand us, people who are of the people. If we can get those people in one group, I think we might be on our way. We might be on our way. Whether or not people with criminal convictions deserve a chance, I'll say this much as an individual. If someone was on a ballot and they were a choice for me to pick, depending on what the crime is, will play a role in whether or not I believe that the best person to choose, depending on their platform as well. It's on each and every one of you to find out what you want in a candidate, as long as the rules exist as they are today. Mia, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do, and it's just been reflecting on what's coming up in the upcoming election. And it's by one of my favorite singer-songwriters, Miss Dolly Parton, whose birthday it was just recently. And she says, if you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one.
Man, I love that. I love that. I just said to someone this weekend, I'm a different kind of brother because I'm not trying to sit at tables they don't want me at. I'd rather go build my own. I like that. Oh, Dolly Parton, I will always love you. All right, folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Maya Palacio, Mia Chambray, I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are Isel. Peace.